small plant can look tired and covered in tiny insects one day. You may see clusters of soft green aphids along the stems, slowly feeding. Then something surprising happens. Gentle spray is applied, and within seconds, those insects begin to fall away. The leaves look clearer almost right away. But here's the confusing part. In some gardens, this quick result happens again and again. In others, the pests seem to return just days later, almost as if nothing changed. Weeks can pass, and the same problem keeps coming back. If this feels confusing, that's very common. Many gardeners, especially beginners, go through this same cycle. They try something that works for a moment, but the results don't last. After watching this pattern over many seasons, one thing becomes clear. It is not just about what you spray. It is also about how and when you use it. That small difference often changes everything. There is a simple, homemade method that can help reduce many common pests. It is gentle and easy to prepare. But more important than the mixture itself is a small detail that many people miss at first, before explaining why this happens. It helps to understand how these pests actually grow and spread in the garden. Many people believe pests appear suddenly. One day the plant looks fine, and the next day, it seems covered. But in most cases, this is not truly sudden. It is a quiet process that builds over time. Insects like aphids, small caterpillars, and larvae follow a simple cycle. First, eggs are placed on or near the plant. These eggs are very small and easy to miss. Then they hatch into tiny forms that begin feeding almost immediately. Over time, they grow into adults, and the cycle continues. This process can happen over several days or even weeks, depending on the weather. Warm conditions often speed things up. Cooler weather can slow it down. But the important part is that the activity is already happening before we notice it. By the time we see a visible group of pests, the cycle is already well underway. This is why it can feel like the problem appeared overnight. When we begin to understand this pattern, our response becomes calmer. Instead of reacting quickly with worry, we begin to think about timing. We start to see that each stage of the pest has a different level of sensitivity. This awareness changes how we approach the problem. It becomes less about stopping everything at once and more about gently interrupting the cycle at the right moment. Many homemade sprays seem helpful at first. You apply them and you notice fewer insects right away. This can feel encouraging. But after a few days, the pests may return. This is where frustration often begins. It can feel like the method did not work or that something was done incorrectly. But in many cases, the issue is simpler than it seems. A common misunderstanding is focusing only on what we can see. We notice the adult insects on the leaves and stems, and we try to remove them. But the earlier stages, like eggs, are very small. Larvae may still be present. When these hidden stages continue to develop, new insects appear. This creates the feeling that the spray failed, even though it may have worked well on the visible pests. Another small detail is how the spray is applied. Sometimes it is used lightly, or only on the top of the leaves. But many pests stay underneath. Leaves or along stems where they are protected. When the spray does not reach these areas, some insects remain untouched. Over time, they continue the cycle. This is not a mistaken effort. It is simply a missing piece of understanding. Once this becomes clear, the process feels more manageable and less frustrating. There is a simple homemade spray that many gardeners use. It is gentle and does not rely on strong chemicals. What makes it effective is not its strength, but how. It works on contact with soft-bodied insects. When this spray touches certain pests, it can affect their outer layer. This makes it difficult for them to continue normal movement and feeding. Because of this, the reaction can seem very quick. At first, this may feel surprising. We often expect natural methods to take longer. But in this case, the action can happen within seconds, under the right conditions. Still, the mixture itself is only one part of the process. Many people focus on ingredients, thinking that a stronger mix will give better results, but that is not always true. In fact, A gentle and balanced mixture is often more helpful for the plant. It reduces stress on the leaves while still addressing the pests. So while the spray plays a role, the real effectiveness comes from how it is used. This is something we will look at more closely in a moment. There is often a moment that stands out when using this kind of spray. You apply it carefully, and then you watch. Within a short time, you begin to notice small changes. The insects may slow down or lose their grip on the plant. Some may fall away. This can happen quickly sometimes, within seconds. For someone new to gardening, this can feel unexpected. It is not dramatic, but it is noticeable. And more importantly, it is consistent when done correctly. This is where the idea of 12 seconds begins to make sense. It is not about exact timing with a clock. It is about observing how quickly a response can happen when conditions are right. This moment often brings a sense of relief. You can see that the method is working, but it also invites a new question. Why does it work well sometimes and less effectively at other times? The answer lies in a small but important detail that many people overlook at first. The key difference is not the spray itself, it is how completely the plant is covered and when the spray is applied. Coverage means reaching all the areas where pests are present. This includes the underside of leaves, the stems, and even small crevices where insects may hide. A light mist on the surface is often not enough. Taking a moment to gently lift leaves and spray underneath can make a big difference. It allows the mixture to reach pests that would otherwise remain protected. Timing is just as important. Early morning or late afternoon is often more suitable. During these times, the temperature is usually lower and the sunlight is softer. This helps the spray stay on the plant longer and reduces stress on the leaves. Spraying during very hot midday conditions can cause the liquid to dry too quickly. May also increase the chance of leaf damage. These small adjustments often have a greater effect than changing the ingredients. When coverage and timing are improved, the results tend to become more consistent. It is a gentle shift in approach, but it often leads to a more stable outcome over time. Another factor that can influence results is the environment. Gardens are not all the same, even if the plants look similar. In warmer climates, pests may reproduce more quickly. This means the cycle moves faster, and repeated attention may be needed. In cooler areas, the same pests may develop more slowly, giving you more time to observe and respond. Humidity also plays a role. In more humid conditions, certain insects may thrive. Drier air, others may be less active. Sunlight affects how long a spray remains on the plant. Bright, direct sun can cause it to evaporate quickly. In shaded areas, it may stay longer and have more time to work. Understanding these differences helps you adjust without stress. If something works differently in your garden, it does not mean it is wrong. It simply reflects your local conditions. Over time, you begin to notice patterns. This awareness allows you to respond gently instead of reacting quickly, even with natural methods. It is helpful to use a careful approach. A gentle spray is usually safe, but applying too much or too often can still affect the plant. Leaves can become sensitive. If they are repeatedly coated without time to recover, it is often better to apply a moderate amount and then observe the response. It is also helpful to be mindful of beneficial insects. Not all insects in the garden are harmful. Some play a role in keeping pest populations balanced by spraying only where needed and avoiding overuse. You help protect this natural balance. A simple habit is to test a small area of the plant first. Wait a day and see how the leaves respond. If everything looks healthy, you can continue more confidently. These small steps create a safer and more comfortable experience, especially for those who prefer a gentle and steady approach. After the first use of a homemade spray, the results can vary. Some pests may disappear quickly while others may take more time. This is normal. It reflects the different stages of the pest cycle. Adults may respond quickly while eggs or very small larvae may not be affected in the same way. Because of this, a single application is sometimes not enough to fully interrupt the cycle. A second or third light application, spaced over time, can help address the later stages as they appear. It is important to keep expectations realistic. Gardening is not about instant perfection. It is about gradual improvement and steady observation. When we allow time for the process to unfold, it becomes less stressful. We begin to trust what we see instead of rushing to fix everything at once. This shift in thinking often brings more confidence. You start to feel more in tune with your plants and their needs. If you are comfortable sharing, I am curious how often you check your plants for small insects. Even a quick look every few days can make a difference over time. In the end, experienced gardeners often follow a simple pattern. They observe first and act gently when needed. They do not rush or try to control every detail. Instead of doing more, they pay attention to what changes. A small adjustment in timing, a slightly better coverage, or a simple pause to observe can lead to better results than constant effort. Over time, this approach creates a calm rhythm in the garden. The plants respond, the pests become more manageable, and the process feels less demanding. Sometimes the garden improves, not because we do more, but because we learn to notice what truly matters.